I'm gonna give it another shot here at the whole live stream thing. Um, yeah, let's see if anyone will actually join. If not, I'll just say what I have to say, and this will be posted as like a regular video on the channel. So I guess people can like watch it after. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the whole Javier Milei stunt that happened last night with the shitcoin pump and dump. Um, I don't specifically want to talk about what happened with that shitcoin or that meme coin, but more so about the idea of nation states adopting Bitcoin because so much has happened in the last few hours. And yeah, uh, I just thought like so much has happened in the last few days. So I just thought like maybe we should um, look at that, like dissect everything that happened. I'm just gonna give this a couple of minutes before I start. If anyone is actually watching, drop us a comment in the chat. Would be nice to know if anyone is watching and is actually engaging. So, um, overall, I think like the idea of a live stream would be nice because I can just like say what I want to say and leave the video for YouTube for the people just to see it later on. So it's easier than recording, uploading, and then having to edit and all of that. So, and if we get people live, it would be like two birds with one stone because then we can get some people to actually interact. So, okay, I think we're good to talk about this. So, Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, who basically advertises himself as a libertarian president, and he's like an ANCAP. He loves Rothbard. He talks about Mises. He said like he wants to abolish the central bank. He wants to basically end all the ministries. He has this like very famous video where he's like walking across the board, across like a board, and he's like saying, "This is the Ministry of I don't know, a Ministry of Industry, Abuela." Like I don't know if that's the right Spanish word, but he's like, "I want to eliminate it." The Ministry of Education, I want to eliminate it. So basically, he ran his campaign based on this idea that he wants to be this libertarian president. Now, I don't think every libertarian is essentially a Bitcoiner because a lot of libertarians are just not Bitcoiners. It's just a lot of them like gold, for example. A lot of them like other altcoins, which is fine. I mean, this is the market for cryptocurrencies. Like, I'm not against people trying to build their own cryptocurrencies. I think they will probably fail on the long run, but to me, I'm not against people testing the market and seeing if launching a cryptocurrency is actually useful. It's actually something people want to invest in. Um, so I'm not really saying that Javier Milei is supposed to be a Bitcoiner. Even though if I want to be completely critical towards him, I would say that being a libertarian and to achieve actual libertarianism and to have like a libertarian system or a libertarian country, you need to have Bitcoin in mind. You need to try to um, at least think about Bitcoin, try to add it into the system, try to not necessarily like have the government buy as much Bitcoin as possible, but at least like make it easy for people to hold Bitcoin, to use Bitcoin on a day-to-day basis, um, everything like that. All that aside, I'm just trying to say is that the reason I'm making this video, I'm not criticizing Javier Milei because he's not a Bitcoiner. That's fine. He never said he is. But I'm criticizing him because of his libertarian stance and um, what really happened last night with his shitcoin pump and dump. So I'm just gonna share my screen here. Um, so I think this is probably, you can probably see this now. So Argentinian President Javier Milei announces he had no association with the Libra meme coin after insiders withdrew over $50 million from the coin. I was not aware of the details of the project. So yesterday, what happened is that Javier Milei just came on Twitter and he said, like, look at this cryptocurrency project called Libra. I'm promoting it, whatever. And it turns out it's just like a shitcoin, and people like dumped so much money into it, and it took the price like this basically. So and when it went up vertically, and then it was a classic pump and dump. So it just pumped and then it dumped after a few hours. And then like he deleted the tweet when he realized what happened, I guess. And he tweeted this. This is translation from Spanish. A few hours ago, I posted a tweet, as I have so many other times, supporting a supposed private enterprise with which I obviously have no connection whatsoever. I was not aware of the details of the project, and after having become aware of it, I decided not to continue spreading the word. That is why I deleted the tweet. To the filthy rats of the political caste who want to take advantage of the situation to do harm, I want to say that every day they confirm how vile politicians are, and they increase our conviction to kick them in the ass. VLLC. So basically, what he's saying is that he was not aware that this is like a pump and dump scheme, and he just tried to help out a private enterprise as he always does. Apparently, he like goes on Twitter and tweets about some Argentinian companies, I guess, just to give them exposure. Now, this puts us in two situations. I mean, it's either he's lying in the street and he knew exactly what he was doing, which makes him the vile person because he's basically using his own popularity and using his own platform to pump and dump a shitcoin, and maybe like he has some insiders, all that allegedly, like some people who knew about it and knew that he was going to pump it and then dump it, so they loaded up on it and then they dump it on retail. So it's either that, which is obviously horrible. Again, I'm not against whatever people do with their money and everything like that, but if you're coming from a position of head of state like Javier Milei, people will hold you accountable for whatever you want to do, and especially if you do something like that, if you try to pump and dump a coin. Obviously, Trump did the same, and it probably didn't go as catastrophic with Trump as what happened here. Um, but yeah, I mean, Trump's coin did pump and dump, but he obviously didn't say that he has nothing to do with it, so it's still alive to a certain degree. But with Javier Milei's situation here, he just reverted back and let the dump happen. So it's either that, or he actually did not know that it was a pump and dump scheme, which makes him very incompetent. So you can't really go on Twitter and say that, yeah, I support this company and go check it out. It's called Libra and whatever, and then just like say that you didn't know. I mean, before tweeting about the company and showing support for it, you probably should have proper due diligence on it. I mean, Javier Milei is like the president of a whole country. I'm pretty sure he has like advisors and people who do the research for him. They could have easily told him not to do that, but he went ahead and did it. So I'm not sure which one to believe, but in either cases, it just shows either the lack of competence, which is one thing, or it shows that he's just trying to rug people with a shitcoin. Whatever it is, the point I'm trying to address in this video is that all this happened a day during the day or like a few hours after the government of Abu Dhabi, the sovereign wealth fund of Abu Dhabi, the city in UAE, they announced that they bought Bitcoin with an ETF. So they bought around $400 million of Bitcoin in iShare ETF. I think it's the BlackRock ETF. And so I just wanted to say that this shows like the huge difference between these two entities. So you have on one side Javier Milei, who is supposedly a libertarian president, and ANCAP, a Rasbardian even, who we all thought that, yeah, maybe, I mean, maybe he's doing some good things in Argentina. I'm not really following up, but as far as I can tell and seeing a lot of criticism that happened, it doesn't look like he's doing maybe 20 or like 10% of what he actually campaigned to do, which is typical of all these people who try to cater for the right voter. But maybe he's doing really great things. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that it really shows the difference between what a head of state that is democratically elected, such as Javier Milei, who is probably one of the best um, democratically elected officials, because this is probably as best as it could get. I mean, there is him and there's Nayib Bukele. Uh, Nayib Bukele, of course, is doing great things in El Salvador, but there's him also that you can consider probably a good figure that was voted to become president. I mean, if you're in the libertarian movement and you saw a president go on live television, on national television, and say like, "Yeah, I know, I read Mises and I read Rothbard, and I want to eliminate all the ministries," and then actually becomes president. This is not something that you ever imagined that could happen. So, as far as electing a president, a democratically elected official, he is the best option we have. But still, in his case, he doesn't, or at least it seems like he doesn't understand the value proposition of Bitcoin. So the best possible elected president does not understand the value proposition of Bitcoin, whereas a monarchy like the UAE, sorry, like the UAE in Abu Dhabi, they bought $500 million worth of Bitcoin with the ETFs. Obviously, this is not ideal to buy it with the ETFs, but they actually did that, buying Bitcoin with the exchange traded fund with BlackRock. So that makes them really, uh, that really makes the monarchy far, far better and far better contender to actually drive the nation state Bitcoin adoption. So that's really the point I was trying to make, is that even the most libertarian president like Javier Milei, he resorted to shitcoin pump and dump rather than, you know, try to study Bitcoin, try to understand why we need Bitcoin, why his country needs Bitcoin. He probably knows a few things about Bitcoin, but I mean, if you really understood Bitcoin, you would be doing whatever it takes to stack as much as possible. For me, that's my take on it. If you understand Bitcoin, you'd be doing whatever it takes, even if you're like an indebted nation, you don't have a lot of money, you're a poor nation. If you're the head of state and you actually care about making the nation or the government kind of like um, rich, and that's what you campaign on, the first thing you would do is buy Bitcoin if you actually understand it. I mean, look at El Salvador. They had to take a loan from the IMF. Now, obviously, they took the loan to do other things, like they cannot really do whatever they want with it. But it looks like ever since they caved to the IMF, so to speak, and took that loan, they have been increasing their Bitcoin stack. So I think we can have a look at it here. Uh, Bitcoin Salvador tracker. Okay, so I think this is it. Yeah, so, okay, I'm just gonna share my screen again. Um, 1 second. Okay, so if we share our screen here. Okay, so this is like naivetracker.com. Apparently, there's a website tracking this. As you can see, they've been buying Bitcoin relentlessly. Like they haven't stopped buying ever since he basically became president and they announced the Bitcoin law and they went full in on Bitcoin. They started from zero and now they're all the way to 3,000 something Bitcoin. And it's like $592 million, almost $600 million worth of Bitcoin in El Salvador. If you, if you've been following like what people have been stacking, not people, I mean institutions and like MicroStrategy and all these big guys have been stacking, you would think that yeah, 600 million is not a big deal, but you have to think that El Salvador is actually one of the poorer countries in the world. It's like it's a poor country. A few years ago, it was one of the poorest, if not the poorest, in the Americas, in the American continents. So yeah, I mean, for them to go from zero to 600 million and knowing what Bitcoin is about to do in the future, it is obvious that this number will go up exponentially. It will be incredible what they will achieve with this treasury that they have. Um, there's not much to see here, but yeah, it's quite incredible what they have done. So what I'm trying to say is that if you really understood Bitcoin, just so that I don't seem like I'm accusing um, Javier Mire that he's not that he doesn't understand Bitcoin, but if he truly understood it, he would take this approach. He would just buy as much as possible um, for no matter the price. Just this is what Sailor is doing. He understands Bitcoin. This is what Bukele is doing. He understands Bitcoin. This is what a regular pleb is doing who understands Bitcoin. So that's really what you should be doing to, um, yeah, maximize as much as possible your potential with Bitcoin. Just stack as much as possible. I think a few people tuned in. Um, So I'll let you guys, if you have any questions about this, what's your thoughts on on whatever what's happening, we can just address that. But yeah, it's been one heck of a ride in the last few days. A lot of things have happened on the institutional and nation state adoption lens. Obviously, I made a video a few months ago when the Bitcoin rally like started. I said that when a Bitcoin bull market starts, there will be a lot of narratives. And the narratives for this bull market or for the upcoming bull market is nation states Bitcoin adoption. So we have a lot of US nation states filing for a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So far, nothing has happened. None of them have been signed or agreed on. They're still pending, they're still in discussion. And the federal Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, we know nothing about it. So there's nothing happening there, just random rumors by influencers on Twitter. So I just want to say, and I just want to reiterate, just want to repeat this thing that I talked about is that there will always be narratives as to why the Bitcoin will go up, right? As a Bitcoin holder and stacker who has done his homework and have been stacking for quite some time and has the stack that he feels comfortable with, maybe he wants to stack even more, stick to your plan. I mean, I would say just ignore all these narratives. We don't know if there's a Bitcoin strategic reserve. It might happen, it might not happen. Stick to your plan. It might happen, and if it happens, it will probably bring us to higher levels because it seems like the market is actually waiting for this news to happen, for the market to actually rally. Maybe, maybe not, who knows? But that's the point, no one knows. So I would really, really recommend people to ignore the narratives. And the only thing that you really need to focus on is holding for the long run. Stack sats, DCA, this is the winning strategy. And try not to be um, distracted by these narratives. One, like the Bitcoin strategic reserves and institutional adoption and all of that. And two, try not to be distracted by the shitcoin pump and dumps. So Javier Milei announced a coin, Trump announced a coin, maybe Kanye West will announce a coin. It's all a pump and dump. If you want to try to be like a smart gambler and try to time the market, by all means do that. But if you want to be like laser focused, then just stick to your plan, ignore the narratives, ignore the shit coining, and do what you gotta do. Benefit from this bull market the way you envisioned it during the depths of the bear market. That's really what I have to say. I think this is probably it for this live. I'll look back at it and maybe I'll divide it into a few segments and post it on my channel. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who liked. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.